Fantasy managers, hello and welcome back to FPL Addicts. This is the preview show for Game Week 23. We are back. I feel like it's been a while since we've done a bit of a normal podcast. We had some clowns running the show last week, which is unbelievable. But we are very excited to be back and ready to go. If you're new around here, make sure you give the podcast or video some love with a like, a rating, or review on podcast, as well as a subscription. Click the button below. You know what to do. We are sponsored by Bonus Bank and powered by Esports Live. And yeah, we are joined in the studio with our two special guests. We do have another one incoming later on for his special section. But over to Chris Reed, Reedy, FPL Reedy. How are you, son? Last week you carried us, did the podcast. You did a fantastic job, mate. How did you go?
Oh, it was all right, Jack. I mean, not as good as it didn't live up to the standards that you set, but you know, I enjoyed it. It was good. So it was with Chaz. Me and him managed to smash it out, and yeah, I'm doing well. Glad to be back with more than two people, albeit just one extra. But it's good to see you two boys. It feels like forever.
Yeah, the old timers haven't been together for a while, have we? But Mikey, you must be like, listen. Since I last caught up with you. New Everton manager. You've beat top of the league. And you must be absolutely flying. And you've been to a Carly Rae Jepsen concert as well.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I just met her and it was crazy. She gave me a number and everything. Oh, mate. Honestly, it was so good last night. It was one of those where it's a free gig. When someone takes
I didn't ask you to tell us about the concert. Then, crack on with the Everton.
The thing is, because our life right now as Everton fans is one big show. It's so dramatic. 1 minute we're like getting absolutely battered by relegation candidates like Southampton, and then the next, you know, we entertain Mikel Arteta's high-flying Arsenal and batter them.
Yeah,
we battered them.
Yeah, them.
I know it was 1-0, but like we just didn't look like we were struggling at
all. What you meant was by that you defensively kind of stop them, which is your way of saying battering them, not.
But with the
aspect. I was just kind of being nice.
But like with the ball though, when we had it, we looked like we were being really intentional when we had the ball. We did say we're not going to have a lot of possession, so when we get it, let's all like absolutely 110% go and commit.
Yeah. So was the Iwobi of kind of old at the beginning of the season then? You know.
Well. He was good, don't get me wrong, but the player that I was so surprised by, and every Evertonian had completely written him off until last week, was Dwight McNeil. He looked a different dude.
It's the Burnley, you know,
different gravy.
Honestly, mate, and now he may be seeing his way into my team.
Oh my God, here we go. Mini Burnley taking over your team. Yeah. Bloody hell. But listen, obviously we've been blown away with that. Obviously that result was insane, wasn't it? And obviously
the performance,
and the performance and the reaction. And I heard Daesh did a bleep test. He's banned snoods, banned pants as well. He's just gone proper.
Dwight McNeil was the winner of the bleep test.
Was it? Yeah.
And it really shows.
Teacher's petting it. He's parched.
Yeah, he's parched. Yeah.
I love that. But a couple of shout outs. Miriam, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining the stream. FPL Sparta. Yeah, all right, lads. Yeah, all good, mate. Hope you're well. Who else we got? We've got Quentin. Yes, Q. Hope you're good, mate. From FPL Amateurs of Oz. Colm, one of our regular listeners. Thanks for joining us. He says, greetings, gang. Hope you're well. Guys, if you are watching, do let us know how you went on in game week 22 and what your plans are for game week 23. Always love to hear what your plans are because Reedy will probably copy them by the end of the pod. So obviously, we're in for, let's review the results from the last game week. Reedy, have you frozen? Because I didn't get a giggle out of you then. I'm quite concerned.
Have I what? And you know what?
I want to be frozen because I didn't get a giggle out of you then. A bit weird.
I was just looking at my team thinking, what do I do?
Language, come on, mate.
Again. But yeah, go on, remind me, what are we doing again?
Oh, I haven't even told you what you're doing. I'm just going to go through the results.
I love it. Yeah, go on. So last week's results. Last week's results in terms of the fixtures. Get them up. Go on. Get them up.
Here we go, mate. I'll help you out here by.
I mean, the Friday wasn't much to talk about with.
Well, I mean, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would want to forget this week's results as well. You know,
never mind this week, the season, mate, the season. But yeah, wow. for me, obviously I don't want to take you, even though you've touched upon it already. I don't want to take that away from you. The Everton Arsenal, we all know that was a big result, and the whole lunchtime off, thingy continuing for big teams. But I will go with, for me, I think it has to be
Wolverhampton versus Liverpool.
No, it has to be Leicester. It has to be Leicester. I mean, a 6-goal game.
Oh, 6-goal thriller, yeah.
And Leicester is something that you normally expect. So, to see that.
Crazy game.
To see James Maddison back in the mix again, get himself a goal. Iniacho, I mean, we knew what he was capable of back in the day, but City didn't sort of want to keep hold of him, but he got himself a goal and 2 assists. I mean, is he an option again? Probably not, let's be honest. But Ollie Watkins, he's someone who at times in FPL has been a great option. Got himself a goal and an assist as well. So fantastic game for me. I watched the highlights of that and it was just, standout game, I think.
Banging. What Harvey Barnes obviously getting on there, and you mentioned Maddison, nice. Tete looks pretty decent as well. What do you think of him?
Yeah, he looks okay. He looks pretty solid. I think that obviously Leicester have been lacking this season in quality players. We all know what's happening with the board not backing Rodgers with funds and things like that. So for them to have him in the fold is definitely a bonus. And as we can see there, he got himself a few points.
Yeah, pretty lively. Got an Aussie on the goal sheet on the the wrong end of the wrong side of the score sheet. Harry Souttar signed 15 million debut. Bit to forget for the first part, but he obviously got the result. Yeah, but they got 3 points in the end, didn't they? I guess. But most expensive Australian player ever as well. Just a little. If you didn't know that.
Wow.
Fact.
Big stats.
Yeah, big stats.
Yeah.
Reminds me a bit of Harry Maguire, to be fair.
Bigger than Tim Cahill.
Just before we move on from Tete, by the way, with the way Brazilians kind of give themselves nicknames and whatnot. They kind of give themselves some random dodgy names. Remember Fred? You had was his name Joe who played for Everton up front?
Joe.
Joe,
what a legend!
He was epic on Football Manager back in the day.
He was
Joe?
Absolutely unreal.
Was he at Spartak Moscow? Is that where you got him from?
He was everywhere. That guy.
He was a real journeyman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But Tete's full name is Mateus Cardoso Lemos Martins. Just for anyone that didn't know that, but obviously, I don't know where he's from, whether he's Brazilian or, as Chaz might say, whether he's Colombian.
Same place, same country.
But yeah, boys, a little bit of fact for you. Moving on, which result are you picking next?
Right, so we touched on Everton, obviously. Probably want to touch on United, don't we? Of course.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
We don't.
I've gone bloody past wherever scrolling down on here. Results. Here we go. Let's bring them up here. Obviously, starting with Palace and then obviously onto Leeds. It was all about one man. Obviously, during this double game week, obviously a lot of people were talking about it. I backed him. A lot of people backed him. But Marcus Rashford, he's at new levels that we've not seen before. Scoring goals, running with the ball at pace, scaring the shit out of defenders. They don't know what to do. he's frightening.
He's frightening. That's the word, isn't it?
He is frightening.
Absolutely frightening.
It is kind of mad the way that, a player's confidence and also not only that, for me, a big part of it is the fans. When they're in the stadium, when the fans are backing you, you can feel them behind you. And that's what he's got at the minute in abundance. He's got those two things. And, it's nice to see because, that whole saying of nice guys finish last, we know that he's done a lot for,
I've been told
outside of...
said that's you've never heard that, have you, mate?
No, come on. We've all heard that one. But Marcus Rashford, if anything, out of all the United players, deserves that.
He does.
He does. Listen, he does deserve it, and he's setting a standard now for United for the rest of the players who also need to step up. We saw Sancho in the game, obviously against Leeds. He came back into the fold, got on score sheet, and you just think, listen, look at what Rashi's doing. Get a bit of that in you. Let's go and show your price tag, get that pressure off, and let's get back to playing football. But obviously, the result didn't go too well. Jesse March, Ted Lasso got done at Leeds. Obviously, during week. After that defeat, and then came in the assistant manager, I think, stayed there and he took over this game, went 2-0 up, which was insane, and then just didn't hold on. But I think Leeds actually showed a bit of character that they did hang on. Usually they'd lose like 4 or 5 goals in the end, but they did hang on, so fair play to Leeds for that. But hopefully we smash them on Sunday when we play them. And then
no comments on Weghorst, Jack? No?
Not the minute, mate. Not a minute, but obviously we missed Casemiro in there. We had obviously a makeshift midfield. Sabitzer, he looked pretty good, but obviously it's not ideal because it's not the perfect midfield you kind of want to play.
The old William Turner wasn't shy of a shot, was he?
Anyway, let's talk about this result, Mikey. Spurs versus City. Go ahead.
Massive. I think. Harry Kane is out there proving that he's one of the best FPL assets in the entire game. I think Man City, obviously at the moment, they have a lot going on in the background.
Yeah, must be stuff going on.
And you do wonder, is any of that playing on the players' minds? You hear a rumour every other day about a different player having a training ground bust up with Pep Guardiola, and this week's rumours was Erling Haaland, and having a proper argy-bargy with Pep, and so Pep's a braver man than me. He wants to have a bust up with that guy.
Turned into new Mourinho, Conte him.
Yeah, I know. Well, exactly.
So do we think this is quite interesting? You mentioned that, Mikey. So Erling Haaland posted a tweet of a picture of the team training saying togetherness, I think maybe yesterday. And
maybe it's in response to the rumours.
Kind of on the...
Or something,
Well,
good old media spreading
Pep's giving the players the old Fergie treatment, maybe, lobbing the boots, the air dryers and all, whatever.
Yeah. You do think something's...
At the same time...
KDB on the bench, Gundogan always in his contract's running out or whatever, but... He's obviously still a big part of the part he's played. Cancelo obviously getting shipped off.
Cancelo jumping ship.
Diaz, Laporte on the bench. Weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very odd.
You know how good that team is when they're in the team as well, when they're on form.
Diaz and Laporte is like the ideal centre.
What's the thing about managers or players signing new contracts, then basically turning shit? Mo Salah's done it. Pep's now signed a new contract. He's deciding to be an idiot. I don't know if it's a running theme that seems to just happen when people go, "Oh, I've got my new contract now."
Classics Aubameyang when he got that mega deal with Arsenal, and then he just went off the radar, didn't he? He was like,
yeah. He's done it at Chelsea. He didn't even get off the ground running at Chelsea, and now he's doesn't get included in the squad. So it's a very strange thing that's happening at City. Very strange.
Very strange, and it's killing some teams in FPL, of course, as well.
At the same time, though. At the same time, I don't want to take anything away from Tottenham because they were brilliant. I think Conte set them up really well defensively, even if
their record's mad, isn't it? Their record's mad with City at home.
Yeah. But even if Romero is an absolute nutcase, like the tackles he was putting in on a yellow was just inevitable.
You've got Lisandro Martinez, who shows you how to be in it, how to perform as an Argentinian centre back.
Yeah.
And you've got Christian Romero, who's the exact opposite.
He's crazy, man.
Going Andy Carroll style. But listen, obviously, what we'll do, we'll check in with some of our leagues, and we'll go on to the members league. We'll go into our teams first. Actually, let's look at our preview. So let's have a look at our podcast league. So the podcast league, obviously, 6 of the panelists in there when those who are part of the panel decide to turn up. So Chaz, who will be on in the next, so I'm told, in the next 5-10 minutes. Can't wait to see him. He did 78 points, pretty terrible from our resident Australian. Balls of Steel, 78 points. He's sitting on 2.4 million in the world. Not great. Reedy's Renegades, not much better, but definitely had a good week. 92 points, Reedy.
Yeah, 92 points. Can't complain apart from
not at all.
Triple captain on the wrong guy. That's the only problem. I put it on that rat boy Fernandez. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. But I put it on.
And this hasn't helped, has it?
No, I mean, this hasn't helped. And I always knew I was going to potentially suffer because the obvious pick was Rashford. But in terms of ownership, that's why I'm chasing at the minute, so I had to go with Fernandez. And you know what? All the stats in terms of XG and all that sort of stuff, Fernandez was the better guy over the 2 games. It's just that Rashford got himself, put away his chances and, he got his assist in the first game. So, yeah, I went with that. 92 overall. Harry Kane, as you said, Mikey, getting that goal. So that was great. And then Luke Shaw getting an assist, actually, which kind of helped. The one that everyone's kind of been buzzing off in the FPL community at the minute is Kepa, in his 29 points in the 3 game weeks or whatever. So another 10 points for him, absolutely made up with that. And the United boys kind of carrying the team. If you like, Erling Haaland with his, is it third blank? Third?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, possibly. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you are wrong. Standard.
I am very wrong. But within
just bagged a hat trick in the last game. Which was the podcast that you did.
No, so let's with it. What I meant was over the last 5 weeks, he's blanked 3 times. That's what I was meant to correct myself there. But yeah, he did bag a hat trick last week. You are right. Against Wolves. But yeah, other than that, though, let's be honest, is he Thanos? I don't know.
Listen, if you look at that last game against Tottenham, he didn't touch the ball inside the box. He didn't have a shot. There's something going on there that they're not getting the balls in the box to him, right? They're not seeing the runs, they're not seeing the crosses, they're not seeing the passes, seeing the pictures, what they should be seeing, right?
To do that and unlock Haaland, they're sat on the bench, KDB and Gundogan. So that's where the problem is. But yeah, 92, I took a -4 actually and brought in Odegaard, which was what I was going to do, planning to do this week anyway. I thought with the Everton fixture for Arsenal, I might as well have brought him in for Almiron. It worked out basically. I lost out on 2 points because I think Miggy got the same. He got 2. But yeah.
You went the triple up on Arsenal.
Perisic on the bench on the little cleanie for the City, but I think most people would have benched him against City, expecting them to score. But it wasn't to be.
No, fair play. I mean, you got a high scoring week. A couple of people in the comments have mentioned Q. He got 102 points in game week, 800k green arrow. Nice work, Q. Climbing the ladder. I think a lot of managers are still outside this. Getting from that 1.5 to 800k has been pretty tough. Gary, 101 points for me. A good week. Well done, Gaz. Nice work, mate. That's a really good haul. Who else? I think that's it on the comments on that one. But let's have a look back in the podcast mini. Ollie Walker-Peel, the mystery man, is commentating on another A-League game this weekend. So I think he's out and about practicing. So good work, Ollie. But he did have a terrible week. 68 points for his FPL team this week. 1,283 points he sits on. So Reedy, 19 points difference there, mate. It's quite strange there. 19 points difference, and there's 400k you could climb up the difference.
I know. It's madness.
And that is very much achievable, right? So, nice work, Ollie. Oh, no, not nice work, Ollie. Unlucky, mate. And Mikey Ferguson. Let's have a look at you, son. 78 points. Obviously, there's a lot of 90s and 100s going about, but you're not up there, son.
It's not awful though. It's not great either.
It's not awful. It's not awful in a triple kind of in that double because of the double game week sort of thing. So
yeah,
you wouldn't have been far off.
It's good, but it's not great. It's one of those, isn't it?
For sure. It's all a bit meh. It's all a bit meh. Yeah, not too much to say. Again, in the same boat as Reedy, captain the wrong dude. Went with the stats instead of the form, and then Arsenal had a nightmare against the mighty Blues, and then De Bruyne got benched, and Rico Lewis couldn't keep the clean sheet. So Kepa, as usual, rescuing the game week alongside the ever faithful Harry Kane. So not too many complaints, but I think this week
is that your first haul with Kepa in the pipes? Did you miss him last week?
No, I didn't miss him last week. I learned my lesson.
So you've had back-to-back for your 19 points from him in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
it was a week before that you had Warden, wasn't it? That was it.
I think was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was a mare.
So Chelsea would have had 39 points. What was my maths? 39 points in the last three game weeks. Wow.
Yep.
No,
Precisely.
29. Terrible maths. 29.
I could see your head was the cogs were turning there, Jack.
I was thinking that doesn't sound right.
You give him an extra 10 bonus points for the last 3 weeks, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, nice work, Mikey. So you learned your lesson, got him in. So you've done well there with him. Obviously, Rashid Fernandez. Obviously, you missed out with with the City burning and the Arsenal.
And this is again the Grass FC v Analytics FC. The whole
it's been hurting me all season. Like I test FC are just winning every week, and it hurts.
No. Your loss is someone else. Your loss is someone else's gain, right? So.
Oh yeah, that gives me so much comfort, mate.
So second place, I've climbed back up the ladder where in my rightful position there, above Mikey. 98 points this week. I did take a -8, which I didn't realise. I think I said to the lads. I think I'd had a few shandies.
To be fair, though, I think you did have quite a few issues with your team, didn't you, Jack?
I did,
suspension or injuries.
So I was looking, but I think I made like an unnecessary move sort of things. But Ericsson went, Cancelo went, and Martial went. So I could have, but Martial then came back for a game and then got injured. So I actually thought, I've messed up because Martial's back in, but he's got injured again, of course. So. I suppose
Martial, by the way, is going to take the title off Callum Wilson for Weetabix legs.
Weetabix.
We need to give a trophy.
There's a competition between DCL and Martial.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, actually, it is. Yeah, legit. But I did obviously for this game week. Did take the -8, so obviously sorted the. Oh no, Ericsson's still in my team here. Is this right?
How many shandies did you have?
So that's what I mean. That's what I took out of other players.
Wait a minute.
I took Pereira. No, I got rid of Pereira. You see, and I probably didn't. I didn't need to. But I was like, I'm doing it. So
because
Matoma came in. Matoma came in, which was obviously a class signing. Because that guy's a freak. So 11 points, triple captain. Push that button with Rashi. So obviously a great time with that. 60 points, unreal. I did bring Nketiah in as well, but he's got a double game week. So obviously I probably took a -4 where I didn't maybe need to, but I brought him in instead of playing Almiron. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously happy with that in terms of what Rashi did and Matoma, my signings and Kane. Everywhere else, sure, obviously did all right there because he got an assist on one of the games. Other than that, yeah, not bad. Obviously, just a shame I took the. I'm happy with the triple captain, so I can't complain with that. And then elsewhere, I've gone too far. Obviously, Batman and Robin. So hats off here. Let's give him a plug. 117 points by Elliot Craig. Not bad at all. He was game week. I think last game week he was actually manager of the week. He got 93.
Yeah, he was.
In our members league, and then this week 117. So he is absolutely flying. Although he's not been on the podcast for about 6 months, he is absolutely flying. So well done, Elliot Craig. Give you a shout out there. He's got me and him have actually very similar teams. Apart from Fernandez, I've got De Bruyne. And I thought, like, obviously he's got Saka and Ødegaard in there. But yeah, he's got Wilson. So he had Wilson on the bench as well, 7 points. So he could have had an extra 5 in there if he brought him in for one of the Arsenal boys. So not bad. He is flying, isn't he?
Yeah, no hits.
Disgusting.
No hits as well. Did he not take?
He took a -4. That's it.
-4, which isn't bad though.
But if you triple captain in double game week on United players, not bad bringing them in or whatever. Nice work, Elliot Craig. So he is currently.
He looks like he might be in trouble though come game week 25.
Oh, let's just hope. Let's just hope he is. Yeah. So
look at that. Like
he's saying 547k he is. So he is on track for this season, I think. So well done, El. Hats off to you, buddy. So let's have a look in our members leagues. I did make some notes here, of course, nice and prepped as we are on the FPL Addicts podcast. So manager of the week this week was Steve Ward. Steve Ward's a bit of a legend. He did come second in the members league last year, or did he win? No, he actually won it last season. So he's manager of the week this week. He's currently sitting second in the members league, 123 points. Freak. So well done, Stevie Ward. In first place at the moment, though, in the members league, is Matt McKay. He's still sitting top. In the public league, we've got Mihai Victor on 1,493 points, which is frightening. How many points are you on, Reedy, overall?
I don't want to say, mate.
1,263. So
1,264, to be fair. You missed the point.
Oh, there we go. I wasn't bad off the top of my head, was it? So 230 points, 230 points above you. And also he's sitting 229th in the world. So that is insane. So well done,
wow.
Mihai.
That's off.
In the women's, let's have a look. Mira, she's on 1,429 points. Well done, Mira. She has dominated that women's league all season so far. And then Donald Breslin on 44 points in the head-to-head members mini league. He is flying there. It's actually quite good, actually, because in third place in the members head-to-head is the FPL Addicts team, which obviously I manage as well, lads. That's probably doing better than my team. And that is got 104 points this week.
Wow.
Yeah, decent. Nice.
Living the dream.
living the dream. So let's have a look. Bonus Bank, who are obviously our sponsor for this season and also last season. So big thank you to Bonus Bank for supporting the podcast. You are fantastic. You put up with all our nonsense and you love what you hear as well from us. They have created a free fantasy football tool for us this season to help win your mini leagues. It does provide you that extra bit of guidance where appropriate. So it looks at the probabilities of clean sheets and also players who are likely to score for the game week. Very useful for determining defense picks and players for assisting on those captain choices. So this week, the top 3 teams to keep a clean sheet. In third place, the Arsenal versus Bradford game, 45% chance of keeping a clean sheet. So I think that's a fair shout in there. Brentford are obviously dangerous, but Arsenal obviously have looked as they've looked all season. They've looked very good and very solid with that back kind of 4. With the partnering of Gabriel and Saliba. Talking of Saliba, we haven't seen Chaz yet. Have you heard from him? Anyone? He is back coming back from the races, so he's probably about 26 cans in.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's jumped on a horse randomly.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's just got home and just fell asleep in bed because it is past his bedtime.
Very true. At the desk, with his head on the head on there.
Well, what I'm looking forward to is if Chazza doesn't show up, I'm looking forward to Reedy's best impression of Chazza doing Captain's Corner.
Captain's Corner, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm dropping you in
Everyone's
there,
very
mate.
excited. Elsewhere, second place for clean sheets, Bournemouth versus Newcastle. So Newcastle away in this fixture, 45% chance. I think that's fair as well. Bournemouth are obviously not very good, and Newcastle, I think they've kind of gone off the last couple of games, would you say?
I'll be honest, I keep forgetting that Bournemouth are in the Premier League.
Well, you're both going to be in the same league this season, aren't you? Everton and Bournemouth.
Oh, yeah. You can't forget that Everton are in the Premier League because we're just doing so awful. But
yeah, it's just because they're not a big club, right? They don't get the same rap.
Yeah, yeah.
So City versus Aston Villa is the clean sheet in there for 49%. I don't know what I think about that, actually. Don't think probabilities-wise, obviously it's based on all these odds that have come up with this formula, but 40% chance Aston Villa. I feel like Aston Villa can score, especially against this City team.
Yeah, I think it might be taken into account that City have a double game week, so they're adding the Arsenal probability with the Aston Villa probability.
Well, let's put it this way, boys. Based on Pep's strongest 11, if he was to play his strongest 11, Villa don't score. But at the moment, Pep isn't doing that, so anything could happen. But if he does,
he's basically playing Footy Manager with the cheats on.
Yeah. Signing who he wants, playing who he wants, selling who he wants.
Yeah.
Here
we go. All right, so players to score this game week. So if you're still looking for a striker to add or reinforce, now, Harry Kane, can you just have a look, see what his ownership is, Harry Kane? I reckon about 40% there, maybe. Around there. So Leicester versus Tottenham, Harry Kane is 43% chance to score. So if you haven't got him in, but how many percent, what's ownership percentage?
37, yeah.
Oh, nice. So I wasn't far off. So 37% chance. So still a lot of managers still, not choosing to have Harry. But if you've got a KDB who isn't playing, get him out, get a budget midfielder in, and get Harry Kane up top as as another striker.
Totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, surprisingly, Matoma's the most transferred in player this week. And I mean,
because he's flying.
I say surprisingly, take that, with a pinch of salt. Obviously, the guy he's been amazing. The points return that he's given the last few game weeks is brilliant. But people clearly are put off by his blank in 25 because he's still got 2 fixtures to play. So Matoma. I mean, I thought with it being double game week, people would have looked elsewhere, but clearly people are just all over this guy.
Yeah, very exciting player. Very exciting player.
Do you think if he carries on this form for Brighton, to the end of the season, that he earns a big move, or do you think that Brighton will be reluctant?
Listen, Brighton are a selling club, right? We can see that already. They buy him cheap, sell them massive profits. They're like the Dortmund of the Premier League, I think. It's pretty impressive what they're doing. So I think if a club comes in and they'll go, no worries, 80 million, please. So it's whoever's willing to pay it. So I don't know. He's obviously looked very good. I don't think it's by any luck either. I don't think he's having a lucky season. He just looks like a quality player, doesn't he? So see how it goes.
42 points in the last 5 game weeks. So that's
wow. And we have got I love it when we mention about Brighton because Ospike jumps in. Here he is. He got March in his team.
I did the same. Ospike. I did the same, mate.
What are you doing, Ospike? What are you doing? You need to sort that out. I can't believe you haven't got more players, actually. The way that Brighton have been playing, I can't believe he's not tripled up
on them. Yeah, or tripled them. Yeah.
There we go. He's argued about the selling club. There we go. We are not a selling club, but we won't stand in the way of a fair offer. You're a selling club.
Well,
that is
100%. They are a selling club.
How are you not a selling club?
Is 70 million?
Cucurella.
No, come on. When I say a selling club, it's the business model. I'm talking about the business model.
Like a business model, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about fair. Is 70 to 90 million for a 3.3 million player fair?
Is it a rip-off?
It's not, but I appreciate what Spike's saying. He's a good man.
Yeah, There we go. So we'll go on second place for your top goal, for your likely to score this week. It is against Aston Villa, so City. Alvarez 45%, and then Haaland up in the 60%. Still, he's not budging off there, even with his out of form.
So out of form. Only a hat trick in the last game week, man. So
according to Reedy, black for the last 3.
No, the Nordic Meat Shield, Mr. Untouchable. I set myself up for that, to be fair. I'm sorry, boys.
There was a little nipple there. I love it.
Here we go. Right. So discussion points for this week, boys. New manager bounces. Let's talk about Everton real quick. Mikey, Everton-wise, you've got Liverpool up next, easy fixture, obviously. Leeds at home, Villa after that, Arsenal, Forest, Brentford. You've got a couple of green fixtures in there on the FDR.
Mhm.
What do we think? Do we think is it worth looking at a couple of these players? Dwight McNeil, is he?
Well, I'm looking
This
at
is
three
this is not
particular
about you.
players.
This isn't about your
Yeah.
team, by the way,
And
right?
and
So
and I
let's
think
talk about good advice.
yeah. Good advice. Would be to have a look at our defense first and foremost. We've got some great cheap options. The first great option, because his expected Thunder Bastard headers are through the roof. it's Tarkowski. He's 4.2 million. Will happily sit on your bench, and also he can come in for, you know, a potential clean sheet, and also could grab one at the other end as well, which is great. And then the other one is Mikel Legend, or Mikalenko, as we like to say. He's 4.3 mil, and he seems to have that left back spot completely nailed. And he looked really good against Arsenal as well. Like, was really super solid, and with the way that Sean Dyche does his thing, usually beforehand our left back and right back were left a little bit isolated, but our wingers are going over to help them now, which is great. So he doesn't look so defensively fragile anymore, which is great. And then the last one is Dwight McNeil. Yes, Dwight McNeil could potentially, maybe already is in my FPL team. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. And what I would say is there are lots of teams blanking in game week 25. Everton are in the ascendancy, and Everton have a double game week in game week 25 as well. So like for the first time in a long time, we can finally say Everton are a serious option to consider.
Wow.
So the Ginger Zidane is going to work wonders. You think?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. I think we're going to be absolutely fine this season. We've got the players. We shouldn't be where we are. And as long as we can get the best out of them, we'll be like laughing. Top half incoming.
Watch this space. Relax, mate.
We've got the receipts, Jack, just in case, mate.
Top half incoming. You can write that down.
Another kind of discussion point for this week. I think Colm's brought a good one up here that we want to mention. Obviously, Wolves look good, look really good. Obviously, smacked, battered Liverpool.
Yeah.
Is it worth bringing in for them? They've got a double game week as well, as Colm's mentioned. They are facing Fulham and Liverpool. They've got Southampton, Bournemouth, then Fulham, Liverpool in that double game week. Tottenham, Newcastle, Leeds. They've got a great run. I mean, until 36 and 38, Man United, Arsenal, in the form they're in, looking good. Worth looking at some assets. Sarr, Kilman, they're some of their attacking Portuguese assets, possibly. Thoughts, anybody?
Yeah, I like Wolves sort of options. The thing about the Wolves defenders is they're quite cheap as well. And I think they're two good fixtures. FDR might suggest different against Liverpool, obviously the second game for them. But, I could see them keeping a clean sheet in both of those. You wouldn't be surprised. The only problem is, do you jump on them now? Because they've got great fixtures at the moment. I think they play, is it Southampton this week? And then, next week it's Bournemouth at home. But
thanks for repeating those fixtures again, mate.
No, I was all right. I was just calm down, Jack. Calm down. So basically, after that, though, 25, it's do you want to keep them? Because the fixtures don't look great after that. They've got Spurs and so on. So I think if you're going to get a Wolves asset in for 25, I think it's one maximum. And I think, you pick your Kilman or you go for your Collins, because the thing is they've got 4 centre-backs at the moment. Dawson's in there. You've got Totti and you've got Collins as well. So Kilman's probably solid.
Craig Dawson is a good, I think. When was it? Was it last? It wasn't this. It was last season when he was flying. Wasn't he?
Yeah, West Ham. Yeah, he did all right.
West Ham kept banging in some headers. West Ham were looking obviously half decent. Obviously terrible this season, but because they haven't got Dawson in the team, surely.
Potentially, but I think Kilman's the standout pick.
Kilman. Hey, what about that goal from Neves? That touch that he just brought it under control.
He's a brilliant player.
Bang
He only scores screamers, that man. He only scores
Doesn't score bad
screamers.
goals. Yeah, he doesn't score bad goals, does he?
He's a great player, and he's overlooked by a lot of the top teams. He's always been linked to the likes of Real Madrid and so on, you know. And I'm surprised he hasn't got a big move like that, because I do really rate Neves. And I think Wolves, as I say, defensively, attacking wise, if we go on the other end of the scale, I mean, they've got an abundance of attackers. I think Diego Costa might not play another game now with the amount of attack they've got. But if you were looking for a differential and you were trying to chase a little bit, cheap option would be Cunha. He did look good against us, albeit we're bad defensively. But if you wanted to go there and you didn't have, you know, sort of any of the moves to make, I'd suggest Cunha and put him out there.
Nice, really. Well, thanks for contributing on that, guys. If you're obviously tuning in for the first time, or you've not tuned in for a while, whichever it may be, please do hit the like button. That would be fantastic. It does help with spread the word of the FPL Addicts podcast. And if you are brand new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload or when we go live. Big shout out to Stephen McDonald, who's joined in. Hope you're well, mate. He's mentioned he's going Haaland this week with a triple captain. Woo-hoo! Thoughts?
Spicy. It's a spicy time. Well,
what do you reckon? Is that
he's going to have to do well to beat Rashford, isn't he? So,
it's about the game week, though, isn't it? It's about the game week.
It is about the game week. Yeah.
It's capitalising. It's not compared versus Rashford.
If he scores a hat-trick against Villa and he gets maybe one goal or an assist against Arsenal, he's outscored Rashford straight away. And he's quite capable of getting a hat-trick in that first game.
Go after Bruyne on the pitch to do that, though.
That's true. That is true. But it's not a bad shout. I mean, after now, you save it for 25 if you're going to use it, on an Arsenal player, most likely. Or do we see the return of Mo Salah, triple captain like last season? People put it on Norwich and Leeds, a double for Liverpool. You just never know, Jack. You just never know.
Have you been drinking, mate?
Not yet, but it is Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. It's Friday again.
I'll tell you right now, with Liverpool's double, people will be going to Salah. And if people don't have used the triple captain this week, mark my words, people will be looking to use it in 25. But yeah, sensible option by Stephen. I don't see why not to, track the triple captain Haaland this week at all.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, be well, Stephen. Thank you for that. FPL Eyes. Love this one. And Chaz has missed out on this comment. Stephen Small. Hi, chaps. Only just tuned in. I'll watch back later. So thanks for that, Stephen. Top man. But he just got back from the local cafe for breakfast. He had a vegan black pudding with a full English. Never again. Tasted like paper fried in snot. Lovely.
Abosh.
Abosh.
Oh, God. What a description.
Chaz, I would have loved that one. Colin, just on the Wolves one, he just mentioned Neto. If Neto was fit, he'd be interesting. If he was fit, yes, he would be interesting, but probably not. On there, FPL I just mentioned he's gone Haaland this week. He wants to go Haaland this week because he forgot to push the button on Rashi. Oh my God, never mind, mate. But let's have a look at these fixtures for the game week. I do have it in front of me now. So up first, we've got West Ham, Chelsea. Bloody hell, what a fixture. That's got to be 0-0 written all over it.
It's either going to be a bit spicy or
it's got to be goals. It's got to be goals, haven't they?
Not very nice. Yeah, you just don't know. Chelsea don't look great yet because they've not gelled, because they've signed like 10 million players for like £10 billion.
Like we thought Forest were bad, like in terms of signing like a whole new squad and reserve squad. But Chelsea, got 33 first-team players.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to admire Forest for trying to,
they had to replace 15, I think, Forest at the start.
Yeah, but they've tried to do a City, but with just worse players. You know what I mean? And have two squads. But...
Keylor Navas. Did you mention him on the pod last week?
Navas. Yeah, Navas. They've signed.
That's insane having him. He's won the Champions League 3 times.
They've pulled off some moves. If they go down, they'll really struggle. But I just don't see it happening. They can't go down. But yeah, West Ham, Chelsea, early kickoff, could be a 0-0.
Yeah, don't back it. Next, double game week for Arsenal, as we've mentioned. First up, Brentford. Obviously, these are at 2 a.m. over here in Australia. So I'll try and stay awake for it, but probably not the game I'll be watching. Arsenal versus Brentford. Fancy it? What do you reckon? 1-0, 2-0?
I think a 2-1 Arsenal, I'm going to say. I think Brentford score. I think Brentford have looked decent. And Tony's Tony's obviously still in the fold. They are stronger at home, Brentford, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did grab a goal.
Yeah.
Arsenal to win that 2-1, maybe 3-1.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm open that Bukayo Saka and Nketiah get some little nibbles at goal as well. I think away from home, Brentford look vulnerable. So I think it could be a high scoring game. We could see another 4-2, something like that.
I like that. I like the Leicester fixture as well, especially after Leicester have just come back, on the back of a 4-2 win away at Villa. That'll give them a lot of confidence. But obviously, Harry Kane loves scoring goals.
Harry Kane loves going against Leicester, doesn't he? Oh.
So I like the look of that fixture. Matoma owners, Brighton away at Palace. Palace have been abysmal at home this season.
Not had a good season. It's still like 12th in the league, though. Still actually doing all right.
Managing to get through it, yeah. So there's a lot of good games. There are a lot of good games. Even Fulham Forest, the promotion boys. We know how good Fulham are this season, and Forest looking like they're improving as well. So a lot of good fixtures. And I mean, Newcastle, if you had to pick a game out of all of those, I think that's the standout.
Is that a guarantee?
You'd expect them to be winning 3-4-0 in that fixture, wouldn't you? With the form and the final that they've got coming up and so on. There's just such a buzz with Eddie Howe and Newcastle fans at the minute. So I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, listen, Leeds United, I feel like United will just go in and do them at home. I feel obviously at Leeds, I think they'll go to Ellen Road and do them after seeing what after Ten Hag seeing how the manager lined up against them obviously midweek. I think he'll just figure it out and make it happen. I mean, we are out without. It's pretty much probably going to be the same team being put out. Well, that's the thing we can just do. But listen, Leeds is not an easy place to go to, so it could just be a draw again, which we'll not be happy about. City, Aston Villa, we do think obviously goals in there. I think like City bagged. I think there was a 3-2 and a 2-1 last season. City beat Villa, so you're expecting that with Haaland in there. You're expecting damage to be done, and Liverpool, Everton, the tasty one. Mikey, would you be happy with a draw coming out of this?
No.
It's got to be a win.
It's got to be a win. It's got to be a win.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? Because season's gone by. Like, obviously, the rivalry comes into it, but it's Liverpool are on the knees, aren't they? Midfield is horrendous.
We've got to keep this momentum. And also, we're in the ascendancy. Liverpool are in the gutter at the moment. There's nothing short of a win will be a good result for us at all. And I think I've just got to put me cards on the table and say I reckon we'll do them over. Reedy, thoughts, mate?
Come on, lad.
I think that it's the best time, for you guys to obviously play us, especially with the manager bounce of Dice at the moment. Is it Dyche? Is it Dyche? I mean, maybe you'll know better than me.
Dyche, yeah.
He's only been manager for like 12 years in the Prem.
Yeah.
No, apparently there's a way to say it, but I just always thought it was Dyche.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the perfect time for you guys to play us. We are really, really hurting at the moment, and we're really poor this season. Tony.
He's still going. He's been the squad for like 24 years. Tony Hibbert is starting for Everton, so he might be worth a triple captain FPL eyes.
Amazing.
Yeah,
fully amazing.
But I am actually feeling a little bit more optimistic because we've got players back in training. Diego Jota's back, Van Dijk's back, Firmino I think is back. So I'm hoping that we've got a few of these players back to kind of mix it up and change the way we're playing. And I mean, if it is a midfield three of Keita, Milner and so on,
and Henderson,
we're screwed.
Horrendous.
I think we're screwed. But other than that, attack-wise, it's looking a bit more positive.
You got too many strikers, man. What not that one. Your midfield, Mikey.
Yeah.
Gay,
Onana, Iwobi.
And you got Decore in front of him.
And Decore was back
Unreal.
and was looking brilliant.
Played unreal like that. It's and they got Calvert-Lewin as well. Like it's mad in it. That's the strength in that kind of spine. That midfield, like Liverpool can't handle that.
Yeah.
Just bear in mind though, the last time that Everton beat us was February 2021, and before that, they hadn't beat us for years. So,
well, of course, going to stats.
If we're going to analytics and all that jazz,
bloody hell, mate.
Very good.
All right, Arsenal City next.
Arsenal City. Oof.
Arsenal City.
What are you thinking? Think Arsenal stay at the top or?
Sorry, someone just got blocked in the chat, and I don't know why. So, yeah, you were saying Arsenal, Man City. I think Arsenal. I think Arsenal win. I think they win the game. I think City are in poor form and they're away from home. And I think if Pep continues to play footy manager, you'll get absolutely burnt. It's like have you ever seen Megamind, where like Will Ferrell's character, like the big giant blue head guy?
Oh yeah.
He gets bored of being such an amazing supervillain that he creates a superhero to try and fight against, which is what exactly Pep's done with Mikel Arteta, because finally someone's come on to challenge him, and it's like I just reckon Arsenal win at home. Maybe 1-0, maybe 2-1, but it's gonna be dodgy, I reckon.
I think it all depends on those. More for City than Arsenal. On that Villa fixture and what Pep does. I think if he drops points in that game, he'll then, obviously have to have a big think about his team selection against Arsenal, because he can't afford to lose that either. And I think, I think you're right though, Mikey, that Arteta at the moment, albeit he lost against your boys with that midday kickoff and the manager bouncing, etc., you'd expect him to come back and
it was like the worst time to play us, wasn't it?
Yeah, you'd expect him to be able to do the job over City, but really looking forward to that game. A nice little Wednesday night football, sort of not title decider, but, two dogs at the top.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Nice work, fellas. Right, let's get into it for our teams for going into game week 23. Moves that we've made. I've not taken a -8 this week. I think I've played a bit safer than that. I've taken Eriksen out finally, and then brought Saka in. So that's my team at the moment. I do have Botman on the bench, so I was thinking, how do I get him in and who do I drop? That's my only issue. But with the double game weeks, I was even considering De Bruyne, but if he does just bring him back on and he kills it, could just miss out. Do you know what I mean? After being rested and stuff. So
I think you've got other fires to put out for sure.
I've got other fires to put out.
Well, obviously the blank game week and double game week 25.
Oh right,
is
going into that,
and you've probably got like 6 or 7, maybe 6, maybe 7 players blanking, because we're not even sure if Nico Williams is a regular starter anymore, do we?
Could be a good free hitter.
Oh, is that what you're trying to say, man?
Oh, 25, surely. Sure, that's what people are thinking, no? Is that not right?
No. Yeah. No, there will be. I mean, look at Elliot, for example.
Some people will be free hitting in 25.
If you've got a lot of your players out, surely, and you keep
the only thing is, I wouldn't be free hitting on, like, you've got a free hit on like Wolves and Everton players and so on. And I know
it could be on fire.
No, I just don't think it's the right time to free. To be honest, it's not
a lot of big teams. A lot of big teams blanking. So yeah, listen.
But if you've got 7 or 8 players like Elliot's got, you can navigate that from now till 25, 3 transfers. That leaves you with 4. You might need to then take a -4, and you should be okay. I don't think it needs free hitting, to be honest. But is this your setup for this week then, for 23 then, Jack?
This is it for this week. 3-4-3. Saka come in for the double game week. I reckon he could do bits. Obviously, he's a top player in here, so
this
could
bench
do bits
potentially, couldn't it?
Is what? Sorry,
this bench could hurt this week.
Bench could hurt. Yeah, what with the points? You mean getting points? Could be
Bournemouth
bench
away.
boost. Bench boost.
Nah, no chance. No chance.
Not a
Steady
prayer
on.
stand.
Steady on.
Steady, lad. Steady. Yeah, so that's it for me at the minute. That's how it looks. And yeah, so that's
So
my
no
transfer.
No
One
transfers.
transfer.
Did you say roll it, or you've made one?
No, I made one. Ericsson's gone. Saka come in.
Oh, for Saka.
It's a great transfer in, to be fair.
Lovely.
It's not bad, is it? Not a spot deal.
Oof.
Could have gone anywhere.
What an upgrade.
Who's going next?
Well, go on, Reedy, you go, because I've got something
No,
spicy.
you want
Oh, he's got something spicy.
Yeah.
Right, okay then. This is me for this week. I've took a -8 already.
The Hitman is back.
Bang! Hitman is back.
I'm fuming with Fernandez. He's going on the bench, right? So he's going to sit there. You know, to be honest with you, yeah, Fernandez and Shaw are going on the bench because the mighty Leeds are going to do him over at Ellen Road. And yeah, that's what I'm kind of going with. I mean, in hindsight, because we always do things and then look back after and think, why? But I should have probably took Fernandez out rather than stick him on my bench and brought Saka in. I did bring in Mahrez and Nketiah, and the other one was Lewis. So they're the three moves that I made. But I probably, as I say, looking back, it should have been Saka for Fernandez, kept Nketiah as Greenwood, and then I played a 3-5-2 instead. But it is what it is. I'll just keep it for now. And if I suffer with those United boys on the bench, so be it. I'm happy to do that. You boys are thinking, what has he done? I can see it. It's written all over your faces. But yeah,
I think the moves are good, man. They're just solid.
I've got
yeah.
I've got the triple up on the City and the Arsenal. I wanted to get rid of Ben White. Ben White was the pain in the ass that just really made me make this decision because, yeah, I just don't see enough.
Because of Tommy Asu coming.
Yeah, there's that.
Coming back into the fray. Yeah.
And you want 3 Arsenal attackers during this next 3 game weeks. They've got 2 doubles and a great fixture in between as well.
Yeah.
So as I say, they're my moves. They're my moves for this week. I'm going to roll next week. Well, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
How about you then, Mikey? How are you looking, mate?
Yeah, let's go to the good stuff.
Here we go. It's big.
Let's have a look at it, mate.
Getting deja vu here.
Yeah, wonder why.
Yeah, the wild card is active.
He's activated the wild card, Mikey-san.
Yeah, it's good. And because the thing is, we're going into game week 25, and I had lots of problems that I had to deal with. And also I had some issues in my first team with players like KDB, who like where they play and where they not, like, and there was also some issues with my structure. I still have Martinelli, who's becoming more of a minutes risk. And so yeah, I've pulled the trigger. The team doesn't look massively different, but structurally,
how many drafts have you done, mate?
I'm super happy.
How many drafts have you made?
I've done a fair few. I won't say how many because it may be over 50 at this point in time. But there's a couple of little things that I do want to kind of point out here. Is that there's this guy on the bench, Fraser Forrester. If you don't know, Hugo Lloris is out with a knee injury for a good couple of months, and they can save you that 0.1 mil
knowledge
on Ward, and also it's a way into a Spurs defense, which is going to be nailed for a few months. So rotating him with Kepa, depending on the fixture, could be an option. Lewis is I'm not sure if I want to go Lewis or Ake. I've still got 1.6 mil in the bank. So Lewis could be Nathan Ake, but if Diaz and Laporte do start coming back, which we're all kind of a bit weirded out by, it's one of them. I wanted the way into the getting a slice of that Arsenal defense, and the best way to do that is with someone who's completely nailed. And so Gabriel comes in, Saka as well, having him who's on penalties, and then Nketiah. And Nketiah, it was kind of confirmed that Gabriel Jesus is not going to be back until after game week 28. So he stays in for now. And even then, like, he could become, someone else quite easily. He could move sideways to a Tony or someone like that if he looks like he's a minutes issue, but he's not a minutes issue for now. Kilman, I think Reedy was singing his praises before. He's going to come in game week 25, give me a nice little double. Tarkowski, the man himself, with expected Thunder Bastard headers incoming. It's going to be great. And then Dwight McNeil rounds out the wild card. My plan for game week 25 will be Fernandez to Salah and then Harry Kane to Darwin. So I get 2 more Liverpool doublers coming in then. So there's been thought processes going into this. There we go. Yeah.
I'll let you dissect this or give your thoughts on this one first, Jack. I think it's interesting. I think
it looks good. Obviously, there's a lot of kind of assets and teams that obviously are already, present in a lot of teams already, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you've already got your foot. Obviously, a wild card. You're planning, 3-5 weeks ahead. I don't think you've panicked like you did with your last wild card, which is good, which is great. You have cleared everyone out.
Yeah.
You've got your Everton assets on there as well, which I think is right, and you've got your Wolves ones as well. You've got your Wolves asset in there. I like it. I think Nketiah is in, which I think is good. I brought in Saka the other day. I think Mahrez was an option as well. I think Ake will be preferred once all the other players come in, and Lewis will be the one dropped. I foresee, but I don't think it'll affect you. Love Rubber Ducky coming up with obviously Mikey's wild card is to get Fraser Forster in the Coblet. He was his first show in there. Rubber Ducky pinning you on that one, mate.
Yeah, ruined.
Ruined. So listen. So how many players have you changed into? How many players did you say you changed from your last week?
1, 2, 3, 4, and then on my bench 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 players changed.
Oh, right, okay.
With the double game week 25, because the thing is, I don't want to keep compromising on my team week after week after week in the build up to game week 25, so that I can start shoehorning players, because my structure was kind of all over the place. And so I didn't want to keep taking suboptimal moves just so I have someone who has a fixture in game week 25. And I have players like Patterson, who's, I'm not sure if he's a minutes issue. Is he going to be back from his injury? A lot of us at the moment have Mr. Kinder Bueno, from Wolves, and he was all of a sudden out of nowhere dropped last week, and Kilman looks fantastic, and so it's one of them where we're all a little bit will we be okay if we just don't have any Man United and Newcastle players in? But all of a sudden, we had these players on our benches who were minutes risks, so I'm just getting rid, and I'm just going forward super solid, structurally sound. I've got players at price points, maybe apart from in defense, but then even then, that's just a 2-mover. If someone like Reece James starts to slap, so we can get there.
I think it's interesting. One player, I expected to see in there, which isn't in there, is this guy.
Tony Hibbert.
It's one of those where you make your choices, or you make your bed and you lie in it with Tarkowski and McNeil. But I like the wild card, and I understand why you're doing it in terms of you want to change it up a bit. You are looking forward to 25, and you have got plans already to kind of change a couple of those players in 25 for some double game week fixtures.
Yeah.
So
and I get the 6 doublers this week.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
so and before it was 5, so I've got the extra fixture in there, and I've got the nailed assets as well. And I think on Twitter, the legend himself, Mr. Rubber Ducky, he did make a good point about what are you doing? Arsenal and Man City play each other. Do you not want to gamble on either of them? And to be honest, I just want a slice of whatever happens. It's about consistency. Like if my Arsenal assets do well, I've immediately not had a terrible game week. If my City assets do well, I've immediately not had a terrible game week. And then the rest of them outside of that will do well. And then you don't pick a wild card for 1 week. Having triple City and triple Arsenal going forward is a little bit of a no-brainer. If you ask me. So
one thing I want to throw in there, I think this is, whether it be you, Mikey, or as well as you, Jack, is with this team selection and including, bearing 25 in mind of who blanks and who's got doubles and so on, would you not be tempted to maximize the wild card for this week and put KDB in and put Odegaard in, for example, instead of Fernandes, because you're going to be taking out Fernandes anyway in 25, and that way then City and Arsenal do play in 25 as well. So KDB would be a hold, Odegaard as his double, and not have McNeil instead. Have you looked at that option in all your drafts?
Well, it's a structure thing. So the thing is, like, I still want to be having a Man City midfielder, like all the time. Like I think it's good. Like Mahrez has been flying. Yeah. Pep loves him right now, and so having the ability to just go Fernandes to Salah and then Kane to Darwin, and then like
it's the same situation. You could go from KDB to Salah,
but the difference is that no one's going to have Fernandes in game week 25 anyway, and I want him against Leeds.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, good. All the best with it.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Yeah, I'm not playing mine this
point.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say I've just pushed the button.
No, I'm not
I know. If you said that,
but there is one other thing which I did mention before the pod, and that is this: it doesn't concern you about not having your wild card in your back pocket to set you up for a bench boost later on in the season with some great coming up.
That's the thing. Like, look at this team for a second. Like, there's triple Arsenal, there's triple Man City. You've got the double United in there. You got Harry Kane and Trippier. Like, what else are you going for? Like, even when you do eventually wildcard, what are you wildcarding into?
Well, I think it's further down the line. We'll know what it looks like. It'd be a lot clearer. There's going to be
potential. But even then, like,
there's going to be doubles in 34, 37.
Yeah.
When
the Liverpool come back.
Liverpool could come back. I mean, I wouldn't put your mortgage on it, but there's those.
Don't worry, mate, I won't.
There's those possibilities there, and it's just
yeah.
I'm just thinking it's interesting to go that. Okay, you've seen enough upside with this wild card now.
Yeah.
With them further down the line.
It's because I've got some good price points over. Apart from in defense, but defenders have been terrible this season anyway. So I'm able to somewhere down the line, like, start maximizing my gains now all the way up until, let's say, for example, game week 35, when we're expecting big doubles, and then like, some people will be struggling along to that, whereas I feel like I'll just be having a nice leisurely walk up until that point. And me, mate, and you're one yourself, we're not adverse to taking a cheeky -8. Cheeky -12 for a good few doublers.
Every week.
Yeah, every week.
I'm not gonna lie. I think not most people. Sorry, this. I suppose it's more the Twitter sphere. You see people taking -8 and things for this game week already. But I do feel like that's what it's going to be, and I think the right time to take hits, if anything, you want to advocate it's basically in doubles, because there is an upside there. So you've gone with the wild card instead, but fair play to you, mate. And it's almost like I seen your message and it was like, right, wild card's active. I was like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, it was either a wild card or take a -16 for a team I'm still not happy with.
Yeah.
And so it was just wild card.
Question for Bucky there regarding Liverpool and Wolves assets. I don't know whether that's related to further down the line in doubles, or it could be for 25.
Yeah, like Fernandes and Kane to Darwin and Salah is a possibility, unless you look absolutely diabolical. Like,
And you've planned that.
Well, would you really? Yeah, would you really take Kane out? Like with even their fixtures?
I'd bring him back in.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But that week he plays Chelsea.
Yeah, that's got to be the play. So you've got to basically leave
And I've
yourself.
got Kepa in goal.
Yeah, you've got to leave yourself enough funds.
They're at home though, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but 26 Spurs play Wolves, then it's Forest at home, then it's Southampton away, then it's Everton away. They're Kane fixtures. They've got it written all over it. So that is probably got to be the move you have in your head to think, I've got to bring Kane back in for Darwin. That's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, totally. That's on the cards for sure, man. And even then, I might not even bring the Liverpool players in. I might bring in some Wolves attackers.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
There we go.
You've been that awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, blimey.
I think it's time for Captain's Corner, isn't it?
We're just moving on now. So I think just a quick mention to FPL Prem Tipster. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, Rubber Ducky's been in the comments as well. Prem Tipster says, plenty of opportunities to roll your transfers next couple of weeks with your team. So he sounds like a fan of this wild card. Rubber Ducky, last one from him in this one. Just before we move on, that K move is not needed if you've got KDB in midfield to straight swap. So something to bear in mind there for you, Rev. This is a first comment. I can't believe this came up. Great point, Reedy as well. Wow, that's the first.
He's going to frame that and stick it on his wall, mate.
But we are into the final section of the podcast. Reedy, it is your time to do the Captain's Corner. Only joking, mate. Here he is. Chaz was about to go crazy.
It's the man, Abosh.
That way.
What a time.
There you go. Good evening, Jack. Good morning to you, Reedy and Rev. Got back from the races, and look, I don't have a lot of time for storytelling, so I'll get into my Captain's Corner very shortly. I listened to the podcast briefly as I was riding my bike back, and I loved Rev's thought process. It reminded me, the way he dissects everything is how I dissected
because I am the Burger
as
King.
I got it out when I was an 11-year-old out on my summer holidays. I thought it was excellent. Loved the points.
I've got the thought process of an 11-year-old. Thanks, Chazza. Appreciate you, mate.
That's okay.
And on that bombshell,
that's it, Mike. Give him the red. Give him the red.
Why have I give Reedy the login to this podcast? Like, just firing these out everywhere. Chazza, here's your time, son.
It is my time. Now, just before I start, I was genuinely considering doing this at the local train station, just doing it through mobile phone. But here we are. Look, no Son at the moment, but we do have a few players we want to go through. And we're going to start off with Erling Haaland, who has been a bit quiet in recent times, but he has a double game week. When it comes to double game week and what he's capable of as a player, there is genuine consideration for a triple captainship. But first, let's get on to a couple of things with him. He scored in the reverse fixture away at Aston Villa, and his first fixture is at home to Villa, which is viewed as a more favourable out of the two fixtures, with his second one being away to Arsenal at the Emirates. The only time he's had back-to-back blanks this season was game weeks 19 and 20. And you wouldn't think with a double game week, it occurs again. But strange things have happened in FPL. He still has the highest XG of any player in the game with 18.9 and is expected to be the most captained heading into the double game week. Despite that, there will be a couple of Arsenal midfielders challenging him. Does he outscore Rashford's double game week 22 tally at the end of it, which proved to be 20 points? And to those who TC'd him, well done to you. The second option, Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Firstly, he's got 2 home games coming up, and how juicy is that? The last time he blanked at home was game week 9 at home to his noisy North London rivals in Tottenham Hotspur. And with Brentford plus Man City to come, he did score against both opponents in the corresponding fixtures last season. Despite converting 1 penalty already so far, and we all know how handy it is having penalty duties within your locker as a fantasy asset, the recent signing of Jorginho from Chelsea could potentially put his future chances in doubt. And he's, in addition, the second most transferred in player with 286,000 new owners. His other challenger and his teammate, who's also Norwegian, funnily enough, in Martin Odegaard has had 6 double-digit hauls already this campaign and is the 5th most transferred in with 213,000 new owners. Riyad Mahrez, the third option. Well, we love the cheeky Algerian. We just love Algerians in general, to be fair with you. He's ranked inside the top 10 for most points scored since the restart with 46 points. Unsurprisingly, only Haaland has outscored him in that time amongst all of the Man City teammates. He is also returned in each of his last 3 games at the Emirates. And his second game is at the Emirates. Villa at home, of course, is yet another favourable one from him. The last option, he doesn't have a double game week, but he has his most favourite opponents ahead, and that is Harry Kane away at Leicester. There was one time where he scored 4 goals. This is seasons ago, would have been 2015-16, and they're 7-1 drubbing over them, just very late on in game week 37 of 15-16 campaign. But of course, Kane, we know what he's about season after season. He proves to be a consistent asset. He scored 267th club goal last Sunday as a Tottenham Hotspur player, breaking the club record, and which was held by Jimmy Greaves for more than 50 years in their 1-0 win over Man City. And funnily enough, you were mentioning this earlier of Man City's record away at Tottenham. Now, it is dreadful. They've conceded 6, played 4, lost 4, scored Krispy Kreme donuts. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next point. Loves playing the Foxes. He's had 18 goals in his 17 Premier League appearances against them, the most he's scored of any opponent. The last time he's blanked away from home was game week 14 away at Bournemouth in what was a game Tottenham won 3-2. The last time he blanked and appeared against the Foxes, plus Tottenham scored in, was the 9th of December 2018. He has also scored in his last 4 league games against Brendan Rodgers' men. That's all for Captain's Corner this week. A bit of a late cameo. I was on a bus earlier and then I had to walk and then get the bike eventually, but here we are. I've come in the nick of time. Super clutch like Steve Bradbury in the Olympics.
He's basically done a triathlon to get here today, hasn't he? Cycling, running. Were you doing any swimming?
No, but I was watching horse racing.
Fair enough. I mean, that could be a new addition to the triathlon, to be fair.
Well, we need to go back to the Sharks analogy, so I forgot we're still on air. But the Shark would beat us in the swim. Would probably beat them on the run, but who would win on the bike? Is that right? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm not sure who to back.
Yeah, there you go.
Tough one.
I was confused, but yeah.
I was going to say, I thought we went to Kane, then away from Kane, then back to Kane. I mean, that was just riveting. Chazza, I mean, you were
amazing.
As fast as those horses you've just been watching there, mate. It was fast. It was, to the point. So we're basically saying Harry Kane's going to score a hat-trick this weekend, in a nutshell.
Look, you're more than welcome to overlook double game week players, because sometimes single game week players can outscore them.
True.
Yep, we saw that with Rashford. Yep. And the captain.
True that. Chazza, sensational, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain's Corner. Unbelievable. Well done, buddy. I really enjoyed that, and your timing was absolutely epic, because that has brought us to the end of the podcast for this week. Chazza, we did review your team earlier.
I heard it. Don't worry. I heard it on the
that was it. So obviously we gave you a favourable mention in there as well. But listen, obviously all the best for this game week. We hope some of our nonsense has provided you some guidance for this game week. Thank you to everyone that's joined the stream for this evening, and I hope you enjoy the podcast if you are listening on your favourite podcast platform. But a big thank you to our sponsor, Bonus Bank, for providing us with their support for this last two seasons. Absolutely fantastic support from them. If you do want to look and use their app, jump on the website. The link is in the link tree below. You can use the software for free to compare bookies, promotions and bonuses and take advantage of them and beat the bookies. 25% off a premium subscription if you want to use them, and go for your life. And guys, listen, been a pleasure. Thank you for your time. Mikey, love the wild card. Look forward to seeing that happen this game week and over the next coming game weeks, and see what changes you make to that as they come along. But obviously, wish you all the best. You are trying to claw back to that top of the ladder in the podcast mini. Chazza, you've got the last word, mate.
Yeah, last word. This time next week, FPL Social will be our next game week preview for game week 24. Hopefully, whoever is watching can tune in. Then it's going to be, from what I heard, co-hosted by Oliver Walker-Peel, myself, and Jack looking after the technical stuff. So I hope you can join us then.
Mate, absolutely great plug, because I totally forgot to mention FPL Social.
What a fun job!
I've got one job, bloody hell. About time you turned up. Top man, Chazza, well done for mentioning FPL Social. Australia's biggest meetup at Ultra Football next Saturday. Tickets are available in the link tree below. Please do come and join us. We will be revealing all the panelists that are joining us, which include FPL Australia's biggest content creators, FPL Flair, who are over 11,000 subs on YouTube, as well as FPL champion of last season and also the season before. And we've got a special guest lined up as well, who will be announced during the week. So yeah, very excited for that. Rev and Reedy, we wish you were able to attend, but you can join in on the stream if you cannot attend, which you two definitely won't be able to. So hopefully you can join in online, get some questions in for Chazza. Guys, listen, that's all we've got time for. Thanks for joining us, and we wish you all the best for the next game week. May all your FPL dreams come true. See you later.